and welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie, if you saw the title of today's video. Guys, this has been blowing up on TikTok. In fact, I did a video that did really, really well on this, and I thought, let's go ahead and highlight this because I don't know, I do feel that some of what is going on might be a little unfair, but it also kind of perfectly paints how people are seeing the situation with Amber and what is going on. So, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, in 2011, Amber and Zachary Quinto does a lot of work with the Trevor Project, and she was brought on in an event that they were doing where they were talking about teens who have tried to not be on the planet. Now, please infer what I'm saying. This is YouTube, and I'm desperately trying not to get in trouble. But this is for LGBT youth. The Trevor Project is all about helping LGBT youth. And one thing they do is they have a prevention hotline where you can call if you feel like you don't want to be here anymore. I hate having to be so roundabout and talking. It's YouTube. It is what it is. And in this speech, she starts laughing as she's talking about this very sensitive subject. She starts pointing out somebody's cell phone in the audience, and it just comes across really, really bad. Now, I've got some information that's kind of come out about exactly what's happened with this, but it just once again paints her in this light. Regardless of everything else, it makes her look as though she's a very, very insensitive person. It's weird. As a sensitive person, I go back and forth between like wanting to have some compassion for her versus also understanding, like, girl, you made your bed. And, like, you went way above and beyond to lie and to exaggerate and to try to hurt Johnny. So, like, I'm not taking a side, but I do try to be objective. I try to weigh all information as fairly and correctly as I can. I'm not just going to jump on a bandwagon necessarily. But I wanted to go ahead and go through this and let you guys see this and kind of give my perspective and see what you guys think, because this is just completely blown up. So, I actually have the video pulled up and we can react to it and look at it real time. And this is from, it says December 5th, 2011. Again, this is Zachary Quinto and Amber Heard. Powerful speech on teens not wanting to be here. Let's take a listen.
Thank you.
She's such a pretty girl. Like, love her or hate her, I'm just saying. Beautiful girl.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Corey, a 15-year-old living with Asperger's syndrome, called because he was in the woods behind his home and he wanted a reason to live. He had a long history of suicide attempts, psychiatric illness, and hospital stays. On the call, he was sitting in the woods with a knife to his throat. He said he had been stressed from starting school and that he did not want help, that he was going to kill himself. And the counselor spent time listening to Corey and remaining present. He was able to locate Corey even though Corey demanded that he not call the police. The counselor asked Corey to stay on the phone with him until he got home and to let him talk to Corey's mom.
Good.
Corey agreed, and the counselor recommended to Corey's mother that she take him to the hospital for a psych evaluation and got her cell phone number to call back the next day. She was pleased when they did in fact call to check in on Corey the next day. Though Corey had suicidal thoughts and was very depressed, early in the call, he began to express his intense interest in computer programming. The more the Trevor counselor encouraged him and provided verbal affirmation of his talent, the more Corey opened up. They talked about the applications he programmed in the past, the projects he was currently working on, and finally, projects he was planning for the future. Together, they discussed creating opportunities for Corey to pursue his talents and talk to other gay youth through Trevor Space. By the end of the call, Corey was feeling good. He expressed to the counselor, "You probably saved my life with this call. You probably don't know this, but you just gave me a lot of reasons to live."
I'm gonna cry! That's good, that's good. Too sensitive.
You know, they sent me a script in the email today, and they did not send his speech. I wish they had, or else I'd have prepared. So I'm sorry if I stumble through my bit, but I wasn't prepared to hear that.
Interesting, okay.
Gwen, a 15-year-old from Massachusetts, called the Trevor Lifeline on August 10th, needing someone to listen. She explained to the counselor that both of her birth parents were drug addicts and that she was taken away from them when she was just 10 years old. Her current family, very conservative Christians, eventually adopted her. When her adopted father screened her recently visited websites online, he found that she had visited the Trevor space and he confronted her. Gwen then admitted to her parents that she was a lesbian. They didn't respond that well. And at that time, she called the Lifeline. They were threatening to send her at that moment to reparative therapy to fix her. Gwen knew it wasn't that simple. She'd been bullied in school, but the administration ignored it and did nothing to help her, telling her that it happens to everyone. The counselors stayed present with Gwen on the phone, empathizing with her and reminding her how special she was, how smart she was to have called in the first place. When Gwen said that she felt like a freak, the counselor told her that her feelings were completely normal and that there was nothing wrong with her at all. After being given the chance to share her experiences, Gwen offered the counselor her heartfelt thanks. Thank you, I so needed that. Thank you so much. Jennifer, I see you. You planned that. The counselor, I'm so sorry, you guys. The counselor offered
This
her
is where it's
heartfelt. Gwen offered her, the counselor, her heartfelt thanks and said, "I wish there were more people like you in the world. I'm gonna write your name down on a piece of paper, post it to my wall. And every time I think it's too much, I'll look at it and I'll remember how you helped me tonight." LGBT youth who come from highly rejected families are more than 8 times likely to kill themselves than their LGBT peers who report low or no family rejection at all. So thank you. Thank you for helping amazing young people remember just how much they are accepted and how much they're loved this holiday season. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the video that is blown up and everybody has been talking about and said she is this horrible, horrible person. So let's break this down. First of all, I was actually getting emotional. And when I get emotional, like anytime, well, my coping mechanism, I giggle. I giggle through everything, right? So I don't know. Here's the thing is like, I think that because of everything we've seen from this trial, because of her lack of accountability that she consistently takes with stuff, because of the way she's come across, because of all the lying, I think it's really, really easy to just take a paintbrush and paint everything in the worst possible light. Now, like I said, I did a video on this. This doesn't look good at all. But when you actually see the full context of the clip, so she says that she wasn't prepared. They didn't give her the information. Okay. Well, first of all, it kind of comes across a little unprofessional that she says that in the speech, right, with Zachary Quinto when they're trying to promote this, this place and the Trevor Project and what they're doing. But okay, that's fine. But the whole thing about the cell phone, I could kind of understand it breaking the tension for a second, but it just feels like it went on way longer than it needed to, and it just seems like it got, and tell me if I'm wrong, it just seems like it got really unnecessarily awkward in the way she was like, you planned that, and laughing. I totally understand why people see this as insensitive. And at the very least, right? Because some people are just trying to say, oh, she's a horrible person, she doesn't care about the topic. And I don't necessarily think that's true, right? Like, because in watching this, I started laughing, but I was laughing because I was getting emotional and trying to scale back my emotions. But in this, if what we see is her being genuine, it looks like she's showing some genuine emotion of oh, that actually kind of struck me. Or the flip side of that, is it that she was just so unprepared that this is how her nervousness came out with it? And in that case, for something that's this big about teens staying on the planet, Is it disrespectful for how unprepared she was? Should she have done more herself to be prepared? Now, again, I'm not necessarily drawing one conclusion or the other. I will say, is it the best light? Nope. Does it make her look insensitive? Yes. But I also think it's good because on TikTok, you're only going to get these short little clips, right? And I think it's good to always look at, as much as you can, the full perspective of something. And looking at this, I don't think it looks as bad as what people are painting it to be. It doesn't look good, okay? And I'm not siding, please understand, I'm not siding with her. I'm not saying this was appropriate whatsoever. I'm not. But this could just be a situation where she was ill-prepared and really was overwhelmed. But still, people's criticisms of that are valid. You should have been prepared for something that's this big of a topic. And you should have come at this with a certain amount of decorum and respect, because it seems like I can understand, again, the cell phone breaking a little bit of tension and kind of a joke, but she seemed to really, really go into it and be really loud with it and let that be a side note for way too long, and she seemed way too amped up about it. And, you know, maybe, again, she's just, that was just a moment where she could find a distraction to be able to cope with the fact that she wasn't prepared, or that maybe this is an overwhelming topic for her. I think what's important when it comes to covering topics like this that a lot of people forget is that people are still people. Human beings are still human beings. And Amber, at the end of the day, is still a human being. Makes her look insensitive, didn't put her in the worst light, but doesn't necessarily mean she's a monster. Maybe she was just ill-prepared. Or was she ill-prepared because she just is desperately seeking attention from any and anywhere she can and didn't care to be prepared? I think instead human beings are way more multifaceted. It is so easy to paint somebody with just an evil or an all good brush, and I think it's good to try to weigh information fairly and give their perspective, which is what I try to do on this channel to the best of my ability. Okay guys, what do you think though? Do you think this is just Amber Heard being Amber Heard? Do you think that this has been blown out of proportion? Sound off in the comments, let me know. Also, if you guys like this kind of content, you'd like to see more videos like this, please make sure and subscribe, hit that notification bell. We would love to have you here, as well as leave a like, leave a comment. Everything greatly helps me, and I continue to just humbly say thank you guys for allowing me this space, allowing me this platform, and watching my content. I'm just so blessed and so grateful to have every single one of you, and I'm just so excited to see what the future holds for all of us. Okay guys, take care, lots of love, lots of blessings, and until the next video, I'm giving everybody hugs, kisses, stay safe, and I will see you soon. Bye guys.